As our coverage of the Stanley Cup Final continues here on the fourth period, there's also other stuff going on across the National Hockey League and some news and notes that we'll dive into right now. Our coverage throughout the playoffs brought to you by CCM Hockey. All right, DB. Some news today. Mm-hmm. Well, a bit of news. St. Louis is going to bring in and transition in Alex Steen as general manager over the next couple of seasons before he officially takes over after 25-26. Ryan Warsofsky becomes the head coach, as we've been waiting for, of the San Jose Sharks. So they finish that end of business. And the Carolina Hurricanes lock up Jalen Chatfield to a 3-year, $9 million contract, getting some business done as they've been trying to get some of their guys locked in. They got a lot of guys they got to worry about in Carolina. We know Jake Gensel, as we first reported, is going to test the market. And they have other guys that they need to worry about, like Brady Shea and Brett Pesce, Teravainen and others. Yeah,
it's a lot of work for Eric Tulsky. Careful what you wish for sometimes when you get a coaching or GM job in this league. I mentioned the new coach in San Jose. That's a major hill to climb, and same thing in Carolina. There are so many free agents there. It's going to be a very different looking team. Even if Tulsky gets a lot of work done, it's still going to be a very different looking team next season with the Hurricanes.
And as we reported last week, contract negotiations well underway between the Hurricanes and Jacob Slavin, so we'll see how that progresses. Now, he can't officially, like everybody else entering an expiring deal, can't officially sign an extension until July 1, but it certainly looks like it's trending in that direction. DB, circling back to San Jose, they get their head coach done, and now Mike Grier can focus on some of the other elements of his hockey club. As I reported earlier this week, they're willing to listen on Mario Ferraro. Doesn't mean they're trying to give him away. It's a very high ask for Ferraro. He likes it there, but he also understands that the San Jose Sharks are going through a transition of their own, and it may benefit them to move him to secure some strong assets.
Yeah, not just a transition, Dave. One of the fullest rebuilds probably in the history of the NHL over the last decade. Like, there's so much work to do, and they'll get Celebrini, and they have Will Smith. But there's a lot of work for Mike Grier to do. If you can get, let's say, 3 assets for Ferraro, that would be great and would probably help, because Ferraro in the short term is not going to help this team win.
Right.
It's as simple as that. It's a matter-of-fact situation right now. So Ferraro should be on the market. He would be a quality ad. Probably as a middle pair defenseman for a championship or a contender. So I'm eager to see what happens with him in San Jose.
The other thing with respect to San Jose that we're going to keep watching is the future of Logan Couture.
Yep.
First is health. And if he is healthy enough, I believe the San Jose Sharks will also entertain some trade discussions with other teams involving the captain, Logan Couture. There were other teams last season, Buffalo, Nashville, Ottawa, that inquired about him. I think that can continue, or that will be revived this offseason once they solidify his health and status for next season. So something else to certainly keep tabs on there.
Yeah, agreed. And what about Patrik Laine? What happens there in Columbus? Now, Dave, I joked. If you really want a real joke here, I got it for you. Don Waddell picks up the phone and calls Rob Blake. He says, how about Laine for Pierre Dubois?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to go back there. Yeah, good luck with that
exactly.
one.
No.
But they've got, Columbus has a little bit of business they certainly need to take care of with Waddell there. Mm-hmm. Laine, as Pierre LeBrun first reported, he and the team have agreed to explore options to get him a fresh start somewhere else. He's still technically part of the Players Assistant Program.
Right.
But he is mending and getting back on track for next season. But he also has an $8.7 million cap hit.
Yeah.
And that is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of teams. It wouldn't surprise me if Columbus eats on that deal for the remaining 2 years on his contract.
Dave, when he's on the ice, he's a very productive player. But the beginning of that sentence, when he's on the ice, when is he on the ice? He can't play complete seasons. You mentioned the personal issues he's going through. So it's a really, like people mentioned maybe Buffalo. But if you're Kevin Adams and you really got to win this year, is that the guy you want to leverage to try to get to the playoffs? I'm not sure that's a great move for Buffalo. But Laine, if he can get on the ice and play a full 82 games, he's going to get you probably 35 to 40 goals. But it's been a minute since that's happened.
We'll finish off with the Montreal Canadiens. We do know that they are looking and exploring their options to see what could be available to them in terms of immediate help. Following the trend of the last 2 drafts, Kent Hughes is engaged in conversations with some teams and kind of exploring to see what NHL-proven, NHL-ready forwards, top 6 guys, are available. It looks like he's circling on the wing. Wants to add some more scoring and punch to that lineup, which is why we're hearing all of the speculation surrounding Martin Necas and, of course, Trevor Zegras. But I believe that he's going to expand that scope and spread the net out to see what else is available.
Yeah, I agree, and they could use help on the wing, so I think that makes sense. They're solid down the middle if Kirby Dach comes back and is healthy, but with respect to the wingers, they need more scoring in Montreal, and Kent Hughes has done a pretty good job there. So I expect some movement. But Dave, if you're expecting a top 5 or top 10 pick moved, I'll believe it when I see it, because we hear all the speculation. We'll get to Vegas, we'll hear, there's going to be so much activity, and then we sit at the draft for a couple hours and going, what happened? Nothing. Again. So we'll see.
Maybe we'll get a lead up to the draft, and maybe we'll see some fireworks on draft day at the Sphere in Vegas. We'll continue our off-season coverage, our Stanley Cup coverage, all of this all month long here on the Fourth Period, presented to you by CCM Hockey.